Alright. Let's go talk to Rusty Pete as he's now a master of the courage to do
Well,
it.
it's about time, mate. I've been radioing you all night. So have you found the obsidian eye yet?
Yeah, but it doesn't work. Darkwater hid the Fulcrum Star.
Not surprising. Cheap old Beanrake never did trust anyone. Of course, we were trying to kill him at the time. Good news is, every
Well,
pirate
I
worth their
trust
salt
you.
keeps a map to their buried treasure.
A map? Well, where is it?
Well, that's the bad news. It's probably still with his body over in Morrow Caverns. Tell you what, mate. Why don't you let me help you find it?
Yeah, why are you helping us?
What? Can't a pirate who's never told the truth in his life go blatantly out of his way to help the lumberjacks who killed his best friend and captain?
Uh-huh.
Great!
Are we just
And
forgetting
I
the
have
fact
just the
that, you
pirate
know,
to
he
help
kind of
us.
convinced the crew to throw us overboard?
I call it slag on a stick. Rerouted his memory banks to his vocal
Slag on a
process, so he'll remember anything he's looking at. Now climb aboard, mateys, and put your faith in good old Captain Slag.
Sure, let's go.
Right.
And so, our hero set forth to Morrow Caverns in search of a map to the mythical Fulcrum Star. With him,
I get the feeling, well, I know it's been said that this was obviously made as just a little stepping stone, but man, oh man, I can feel the obligation just rising.
Do you even know where we're going?
Of course I do. I got GPS. Look.
Turn right at Isle of Despair. In 5 leagues, keep left.
I love this thing. Hanukkah gift from me mom.
Okay.
Drunk.
He's Jewish.
Yeah, I
Good
guess
to
Rusty
know.
Peach is Jewish. Okay, I know that the joke is that Jewish people unfortunately gets very bad presents at Hanukkah, at least according to, you know, witnesses of what people said, like Danny Saxbanger, but jeez.
What?
What? I didn't say nothing.
I still don't understand why we need Slag to find Darkwater. Didn't you help him hide the ship?
Well, I was a bit sauced at the time. Woke up 3 days later wearing an evening gown and spooning a kerchief. What's your
Okay,
tales?
more bestiality jokes.
Yeah, bye.
Like, Jesus Christ.
I'll admit, with a title like Quest for Booty, I was not expecting it to be this horny, but here we go.
I get the idea it might have been a case where, you know, there wasn't a lot of quality control because someone was like, it's a small budgeted title and we need to sell, again, our digital-only program, you know, it will be fine. What's the worst it can happen?
That's Fred.
Like, don't get me
Again,
wrong.
we'll physically release it in Europe, except Britain.
Yeah, so that's the weird thing. Why did Europe specifically get physical
It might be
releases?
better get you know, the chart said that Ratchet and Clank games were selling more there.
And how come we didn't?
They were afraid about the flag on a stick joke. Oh, god damn it.
Structural integrity.
Ratchet, I'll try to find a way out of here. Just promise we'll leave this place together, okay?
Oh, how touching.
Thanks, Ratchet.
The two lovers must separate.
I mean, sure,
Anyway.
Here again.
I mean, it's still a small moment, but I kind of appreciate it.
Yeah. You know what? Admittedly, that's more so snark from me, knowing kind of how later games will not do as much with her as you'd think they would. But
Only a recitation of the fabled Song of the
for this
Dead.
bit, it is
Oh, the
fine.
dead.
Away.
Pirates tend to have a tendency to go for the macabre.
Here is me handle, here is
Don't
me spout.
think that's much macabre.
Wow. So I guess in the Ratchet and Clank universe, the teapot song is the idea of a robot that's been scrapped and turned into a teapot, if that's apparently the song of the dead.
Sure, let's go with that. Also, where the hell are we to have this much humidity in it? Like, yes, sure, came with water in it, but how is the temperature supposed to be the temperature in order for causing this much vapor?
You have to look for another one.
I know typically we don't have to think hard about levels, but again,
Again, they
it
just
really
want to create
feels
atmosphere,
like-
you know. I'm just mostly
Yeah.
making a joke, and at the end of the day, they want to create the spooky atmosphere. I get that. It's just that I guess it reflects the tropical environment. I'm not really used to that, so, you know, it's entirely possible.
If I had
Would you say that Deadlock did the whole haunted level thing better?
Not necessarily. Yeah, I was wondering if I could grind on the rails. Guess not. I mean, oh Jesus.
Uh-oh.
What was that?
I mean, again, this is all part of the entire theming because, like, once again, Insomniac was having a huge ardor for Pirates of the Caribbean during this time period. So there you go. Here's the other again gimmick with the whole pick up an object gimmick. Ratchet can pick up these glowing alien creatures, which can actually function as a torch.
Nice.
So yeah, look our lighting engine. Ooh.
It's a tale as old as time, the light up gimmick in gamings, but yeah, I can imagine wanting to showcase that. I think if I recall correctly, most times it was more so the equivalent of a light switch, but hey,
Well,
this
there
really
was
showcases how well the lighting engine can work.
There was the glowing insect in the Crash 2 and 3 special levels, but that was kind of it.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, well, those are more so light switches. Like, this feels more dynamic lighting, you know, if you get what I mean.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
whatever it is big.
Well, at least it's courteous enough not to attack us.
I'm sure,
Yet.
well, yeah, it's not like we're building up the level to that.
Heh.
At the very least, it doesn't take too long until we reach the battleship of Darkwater. Right now, we're basically just opening up the paths so that Rusty Pete, you know, and Slag's head can actually, you know, come across.
And rob you of all of your loot. If you like breathing, you better be leaving, cause anyone left, I'll shoot!
Yeah, they seem to be a bit vague about it, but it seems like Slag's head might have some life in it.
Again, so far it's only reacting out of, you know, necessity with the whole memory bank storing, which leads the way.
for the secret.
But if you remember before that, Rusty Pete was using it in a ventriloquist kind of fashion. So,
Which
for,
again just
for all
makes me
intents and
laugh.
purposes, Slag was killed when Ratchet, you know, shot him repeatedly.
What his ship should
Again, I just love how Ratchet and Talwyn aren't even bothering calling out Rusty Pete for having the pirates throw them overboard. Unless it turns out that he specifically had them thrown to that island because it helped them out, but...
Well, yeah, remember what he said, you know, get the Lombax to second and pointing there where he will get exactly what he's looking for. He's clearly, you know, he was clearly manipulating into, you know, pointing to the right direction, but we'll have to see if that actually, you know, works out or not.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just surprised that Ratchet never calls him out for it, unless Ratchet did catch on to
Ratchet
it,
is
like...
kind of, you know, in a terrible spot right now, you know, he's desperate to find Clank and will probably do anything to get there.
There's our beast.
I don't think it's our skin of the Leviathan, but it's still relatively similar.
So see, lines like that, where Slag's head yells out, "If only I had me arms," which does make me wonder, wait, is it actually partly alive, or is that also just part of its memory that knows to react to danger?
It's a robot.
Whoa.
There you go, there's the ship of Darkwater.
right where we left.
Again, as you noted, of a very
You're
Treasure
sure
Planet
Darkwater's holding the
inspired.
map to the Fulcrum Star.
Well, there's a bit of also inspiration from the Goonies, the fact that Darkwater binded his soul to and stayed on the ship, just dying there
But
with his
a
crew.
deal's a deal.
That was also the case with Captain Flint, although, as far as we know, he's the only corpse on his ship, so who knows.
The forgotten shipping rails.
Well, considering it was an adaptation of Treasure Island, the rest of, you know, Flint's crew were the people that were working with Silver, basically. Again, when it came to the actual Disney adaptation, the only other remaining person, was Ben Gunn, which was more of, robotic and had the whole memory circuit ripped off to prevent, the knowledge about everything.
I'm mainly talking about the fact that, mainly with Treasure Planet specifically, we see Captain Flynn's corpse on the ship. I don't recall his corpse being there in any other previous
that's the thing.
adaptation.
That's the thing. If you forgot, at least in the original book, the location of the treasure is just buried underground and
Yes.
in the ground, and it's not even there because the story just basically makes you realize that Jim and the others took it beforehand, thanks to Ben.
Yeah, pretty much. What I'm getting at is like how Treasure Planet mixes things up a bit.
Pretty
For one
much,
thing, the treasure is at the center of the planet, and apparently Flint stayed there with his treasure so much that his ship and his corpse are still there. Right then.
Also, many robots were killed right now. Again, a bit of inspiration also with the Goonies, the fact that part of the crew possibly, built this inside the cave.
Many robots were killed in the making of this production.
That's the thing, Bleeps. If you paid attention, ever since Spyro 1, I think, Insomniac has this running gag about,
those sheeps were killed.
Yeah, and it's always like that for every single game, just with something different. For example, Tools of Destruction, the one from last time, it had no penguins were harmed, because, those were the ones that you could mutate with the grenades.
Mm-hmm. I might as well give Tools of Destruction some credit also. While I did snark a bit about its plot, I do appreciate that they do use the excuse of the computer to explain a lot of the lore, even explaining a relative background element like the pirates as being tied to the main bad guy of the game.
Although, as you might have pondered already, but this added stuff with Darkwater kind of goes a bit in conflict with that, because Iris did mention that the space pirates were built by Tachyon to do his bidding, but here it's more of a case that they were just present. And also another thing, the very important part that is established here is the fact that Darkwater became friends with the Zoni and got the Fulcrum Star to communicate with them, which is the object that everyone is looking, in this case Ratchet. But what we learn in A Crack in Time makes you wonder why the Zoni, befriended Darkwater to begin with. You can make an argument, it was just 4D chess playing for the sake of, preparing to this very moment so that Ratchet could have, a way to reach his friend, but that doesn't seem to be the case to me.
For as much as we joked during Secret Agent Clank that the continuity was off the wall in that game, somehow that game feels like it fits more in with the continuity than this game.
Oh, remember, Tools of Destruction wanted to be partially a new fresh start. Yeah, that was Darkwater's corpse. Alright, I hope that whatever Rusty Pete knows is worth it.
And there's his head, conveniently enough.
Battle in pirating history. Right.
Yeah. But I think fair to a pirate means different to fair to a
Why don't you stand right there, mate?
How kind
Check
of
for
you.
booby traps.
Sure.
Booby traps? Isn't that a bit cliche?
Not at all, mate. After all, you're the boob.
Ratchet
and
is
he's
the
trap.
what? Oh yeah, this was Rusty Pete's plan all along. Just slam Slag's head onto Darkwater's corpse and hope that he gets resurrected that way. This is a problem. Oh, jeez.
Well, there's the quest for booty. Kicked in his own.
What happened to that whole Ratchet's supposed to be your captain thing from
At least
Tools of
not only they did
Destruction?
not kill him, but also they gave him some extra weapon.
edge of the galaxy.
However, because of how the curse works, we have a bit of a liquid ocelot situation where Darkwater and Slag are fighting for the control of the body.
Ye got a lot of nerve possessing me. This be my body now.
Watch your tongue, you made-human body snatcher, or I'll carve out your gizzard and fry it for me supper.
Tough talk for a wee little phantasm.
Oh, I'm a phantasm on account of you sticking this blade in me back, you miserable cheat.
All right, enough. I think you two could do with a good pillaging. Set course for Holofar or...
Well, shit. Yeah, Ratchet Fate says it all.
Well, hey, at least we got the
some
map.
and some weapons, because I guess Rusty Pete felt that charitable.
See, he's not a completely bad guy.
I mean, he literally just used Ratchet and Talwyn, which, by the way, we need to get back to, ASAP, in order to resurrect, an undead crew for the sake of actually trying to resurrect Slag at the same time. I don't know about that, so...
He gave us some help, Tio. He gets his cues, and I'm sure that's what will lead us to forgive him by the end of this narrative.
That's basically the rest of the game. Now, outside finding Talwyn, we need to stop the new Gestalt, fusion between Slag and Darkwater. That's it.
So
that's the plot of the game, and we're gonna achieve that very easily, believe me.
Oh, super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really?
So, what this game's plot basically amounted to was, we got a map, and we have to stop Rusty Pete and Captain Slag again.
Basically. Actually, that's a good reminder, because, you pay attention that the first part was 36 minutes. I might as well use this time to mention. The first part was 36 minutes, so this one is 30 minutes, roughly. 31, to be charitable, because it's close to that. Next one is 29 minutes, and the final one, credits included, 19 minutes and a half. You know what this means, guys? This game, even on medium difficulty, can be easily beaten in less than 2 hours.
Jesus,
2 hours!
Okay. To anyone who actually paid up the money to purchase this physically, I don't know how much it cost at first, but going off of Amazon prices now,
I pray to God that you didn't pay $40 for this.
It's and nowadays, the physical version of this goes for more money than Tools of Destruction, which I guess speaks to how rare it is, but all the same, still.
The overpriciness of games is a topic that is, being discussed right now. But let's not forget that 15 years ago, roughly, there was this very awful trend of releasing games for the PS3 and Xbox 360 that were barely 4 hours long, and you had to pay full price for them.
Jesus, look. I don't know how much the hands of the devs were tied, but no, if you're going to charge 30, let alone 60 bones for this add-on game, because let's be honest, this is essentially an add-on game, there's gotta be more. And mind you, I've seen DLC campaigns that could practically be their own game.
Yes,
Wait. Oh, but I need them, otherwise I'll fall on the floor.
Sorry, Lives. It's more important to buy the BD gums.
But yeah.
But, okay, fine. I'll get me ribcage first. I don't need it anyway.
But yeah, no, again, I don't want to sound too critical because, look, at its most base form, this seems like a fun enough venture, and dude, I could totally go for Ratchet and Clank.
And I already had level up max of the bomb glove. See what I mean? This adventure is so short that you can max out your arsenal in no time to compensate that.
I'll admit, part of me was almost wondering if we were going to finish the game in this part, since it seems like we're so close to the
halfway point,
technically.
Mostly because the next part is to discover a way to actually defeat Darkwater. But first
it's
we need to fight
interesting.
Talwyn.
They bother tying Darkwater to the zone. You'd think. again, this feels like something that could have been a plot element crack in time. Like, maybe have Darkwater returning as one of the antagonists to it.
Or
since you're
have
tying
this
everything
as the
together.
tutorial campaign for that, because honestly, you would possibly justify a couple of things, like introduce some of the new mechanics for Ratchet, you know, and being a potential send-off to Talwyn, because yeah, again, one of the bigger crimes that Crack in Time does is just that it unceremoniously drops away Talwyn. And as a reminder, up until it was released, Insomniac was generally considering that to be the final Ratchet and Clank game, meaning that again, her entire subplot would have been for nothing.
It's just so weird.
So, in his effort to claim the Fulcrum Star, our hero was outwitted by the charming Rusty Pete, a loyal pirate whose only desire was to bring back his beloved Captain Slag.
Scourge of
You
Polite.
stop calling him that. Slag me something different round here.
Annual beauty pageant.
Of course,
What? It's just
there
his
were a few
beloved
side
Slag,
effects.
Dwibs. What could
Hundreds of
possibly be
undead
wrong about
pirates were now
that?
Do you
free
really
to
hate
roam
your
the
wife that
flames,
much?
and
Bloody
the
hell.
king now had to share
Okay,
a
the
body
implication that
with the
Pete and
pirate he
Slag are
killed
actually a
long
married
ago.
couple is an interesting
But all in
one.
all,
They're definitely
it
having
was
a bit of a
great
who
day.
kills me type of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, just to mention, because again, as a instead a reminder, not only this game is recapped in like one or two sentences in the very intro of A Crack in Time, but the only plot point that is kept from this, outside of a revelation at the end, is the fact that the Fulcrum Star is the device that he used to power up machines that can communicate with the Zoni. The end.
Like I guess if Rusty Pete is okay, I forget if Rusty Pete was absent or present in
It's
Crack in
present.
Time.
It's present in a part. He actually gets to, believe it or not, he gets to have his radio show.
Right. Okay.
Send Q&As to him and Slag.
But all that being said, though, like, oh, and yes, now to show that evil is afoot, now the filter turns green.
Well, that was like that also in the cave. It's to symbolize the undead status of the curse. Because again, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Now, okay, nowadays, Quest for Booty goes for a price of about $14.99.
And like I said, if I recall correctly, not only you can get it for free if you purchase one of the other titles of the Future Saga, I forgot which specific one, but if you have the PlayStation Plus program for the PS4 and 5, you can technically play it for free with a PS Now streamable program. Again, yes, it's not the most optimal way to play it, but I argue it's better than forking up money for it.
Yeah, that being said, I want to take into account what was its pricing scenario back then.
Oh, I don't genuinely remember. I don't know if it was mentioned.
And I don't know if that's how much it cost back then, but again, nowadays, physical copies go for like $60+. At least over here, if Amazon's anything to go by, which, again, probably speaks to how more rare it is, but holy cow. I mean, yes, if this were like the most deluxe experience packaged into a tiny amount of game time, like say, something like, say, if this were like a 2-hour Red Dead Redemption 2, maybe I could see them justifying that price if it had that level of quality and stuff you could do in it, but no, as much as a Ratchet and Clank fan I am, this has no business being
okay.
more than
IGN,
15.
hold on. IGN has an article of the time it was released that might be talking about the price. I'll check in a second.
Cool.
Can't believe it. I had to say thanks IGN for something, but there you go.
Hey, you know, broken clock, right? Twice a year, essentially. IGN are like
Okay, fair enough. The base price since its release was $15. So,
okay, so
again,
that was
as much as I argue it's still relatively short, at the very least they charge possibly some of the lowest price that even back then digital stores could have for a digital game. Because again, remember, early years of digital stores, so like PlayStation Network and Xbox Live, so they were kind of entitled to actually let you pay at least $20 for something. Kids these days don't really know how how good we have the existence of stuff like Steam with its sales or GOG or itch.io, which not only tend to have general low prices, but very regularly put things on sale at very stupidly low prices.
Like, holy cow, just this summer, I was able to get about 8 games for essentially the price of $60 collectively.
I know that these days there's the whole argument about, oh, you're actually not owning the games, but it's an actual copy or something like that, which, yes, I get the idea that if you're actually that fixated on the whole thing about, possession of something, it might be a problem to you, but, like, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. Oh yeah, by the way, this is me checking again the option and realizing, no, they don't give you again the option to turn out the 6-axis for projectiles. Hooray! It was a feature in the previous games, you fucks!
Okay, I guess we can say it. They just didn't care.
This is literally a step backward in accessibility. My god.
Wow. Is there logic? This game's not that long, so if players can't handle the 6-axis for a couple of hours, then that's their own problem.
Basic skill issue.
But yeah. Also, to Steam's credit, Gabe Newell seems to be one of the few CEOs who gets the message, hey, if you treat your consumers right, they won't feel the need to pirate stuff. So, like, I mean, as long as Gabe Newell is in charge, Steam at least seems to be a good place where you can feel confident that you at least feel like you own the games you purchase.
I mean, there'll be those that pirate anyway, but...
Well, that's the thing. We're in a whole new golden age of piracy because a lot of producers are doing stupid stuff like trying to basically pigeonhole customers with by calling the competition. That's not even getting into half the stuff Epic Games tries to do. Although lately they realized, okay, we actually do have to try to win some people's favor. So Epic Game Shop does do some nice things. I still prefer Steam, really, though.
Still, like, I also gave it a look recently, Joe, but the Epic Game Store still is not only poorly optimized, but still a sword in the eyes to look at.
Yes, oh god, it is. Like, I only really use it to be able to play some stuff that I honestly got for free there. Like, that's the cool thing. If you occasionally check in, you might get lucky and find a game for free on there, but
because Steam really is that desperate.
Yeah, otherwise, nah, they don't really see my money, honestly.
Alright, time for another third section. Again, this next section is just you repelling Darkwater ship using the third section to actually deal with that.
Firing at the robot himself would actually be a nice life hack to beat him.
Well, I get the idea.
Then the game would be over in a minute.
I think it's more of a case of trying to actually deter from the projectiles first. There you go.
Let me guess. Union regulations?
Again, even the structure in terms of mission is still relatively simple. Talwyn, wanna give me a hand?
No. By all means, Talwyn, don't try and dodge the cannonball fires. Just stand still there with your binoculars and walk.
We're in Normandy, Jesus.
Like, at least have her man another turret, even if it's just, window dressing.
I get
for
that
the
it
scene.
was, budgeted and all, but it would have been a good excuse for co-op. Then again,
but guys, don't you see? If we do that, we'll reduce this game's length by a full 5 minutes. That's like 1/20th of the whole game.
Then again, even the actual co-op game, All for One, did not bother to have Talwyn as one of the 4 players.
You know, I do wonder how many people might take issue with this being even so much $15, because if I recall correctly, when it first came
not my
problem. Ratchet, that could be the location of Darkwater's treasure. See if you can find someone to translate it.
If I recall correctly, Shovel Knight, when it first came out, was like $15 essentially on the 3DS store. Nowadays on Steam, it goes for $19.99 though, if I recall correctly.
Mostly because
Which,
like,
you know,
I can imagine considering the updates he received, it makes sense.
Although they did increase the price with some of the other modes added on. Now, mind you, if you got it before, if you got it beforehand, you're good.
What's your hurry?
But yeah.
Alright, tell me about the pirate map.
Your lucky day. See, this here's a map to Darkwater Cove. It's written in Decadroid, but I would be happy to act as your guide. Of course, I couldn't offer my services without, say...
Cold hard cash!
Yes, it's another, Moneybags moment.
Thank you kindly, friend.
Your stupid bolts.
Come on, partner.
You know, of all the times, you'd think he'd charge souls given the robots we've been fighting have them, but, whatevs.
Alright then, tune in for the next part where we reach this island where hopefully we find a way to defeat Darkwater. See ya.
Alright then.